Hey guys, it is time for a long-awaited State of the Collection video. I try to do these maybe once a year, but kind of fell behind, so I figured better late than never. And I'm going to do this kind of in groups or kind of packs to move this along quicker. And I'm first going to begin with kind of what I call my, I don't know, I hate to use the term beater, but more like my daily wear, or basically watches I have no personal attachment to that I'll sell, trade without blinking an eye. So let's first begin with this one. This is the SNX 77, and got this watch just really out of boredom. It's often referred to as, people compare this to like the Rolex Oyster or something like that, but I don't know, I never really understood that too much. But it's just a very easy wearing watch. It's pretty small, you know, the crown is recessed, but not a whole lot to say about this watch. You know, it runs the 7S26 movement, which is kind of the eco line for Seiko, and this watch really is a kind of eco line Seiko. I mean, for one, there's virtually nothing identifiable about the reference number on this watch, because they basically just use kind of mass-produced parts, so the case back is not kind of unique to the watch. It just basically tells you what movement it's in here. So, you know, somewhat, you know, probably as you kind of go up the chain, eventually they'll put at least a reference number. I don't think this one has it either, but yeah, this watch is you know, it's just an easy kind of daily beater, you can call it. This is not the original bracelet. I actually had this bracelet laying around and it just happened to fit, so I like it much better. It's a Pagani design bracelet. The original bracelet is very kind of janky, so I like this bracelet better. But yeah, just an easy kind of watch you can wear without ever having to worry about anything. Next is my SNG 13J. This watch I really just got for the Speedmaster-like appearance. You know, I kind of like this kind of monotone look, which is kind of black and white, very easy to read, very easy to wear. It's a good size. It's just made a very good kind of daily wear watch, where really legibility was more important than anything else. So this watch, obviously very easy to read. You know, I actually had some plans to modify this watch. I was gonna put a sapphire crystal and actually kind of beat it up a little bit to give it a kind of Flieger look, but just never got around to it. And like I said, it's just a very easy watch to read, so it's a great watch to wear where you just need to be able to see the time very easily. You know, you got the 12-hour, 24-hour, easy read secondhand. So, you know, again, another great kind of tool watch. This is the Seagull 1963. This is kind of, I guess you can call it the homage or the replica, because they do, there's like a original one that sells for a couple hundred, and then you have these which go for like under 200. The main reason I got this one is really just I love how it looks. It has a very nice retro look to it, kind of a faded silver white dial with the blue hands, and the brass case is what won me over. I've always wanted a brass watch, so this was a great way to experience a brass watch, and it really is super cool. Just how this watch is kind of slowly aging. If you look at my earlier videos when it was brand new, it had more of like a shine to it. Now it's kind of gotten very dull. You can kind of see some parts where it still has a little bit of sheen left over there, but otherwise it is kind of patinaing nicely. But this is a very cool watch. It's a manual wind watch, so kind of reminds me of the Speedmaster a little bit. But this actually is a Chinese watch. It does have a significant kind of significance in the Chinese watch world, because it was a military watch. So in a way, you know, if you're into like historically relevant watches, this kind of has a place in that. But otherwise, yeah, I love wearing this watch. It's another watch actually garners compliments. Again, I think it looks kind of above its price point. I think I got it for like 180. Sapphire crystal. It has a really nice decorated movement. Kind of see here, looks super cool. So this is just a good conversation piece of a watch. You know, if you wear this watch, you'll always get people asking you about it. And last but not least is my Orient Star Classic. So, you know, I kind of got this watch. I thought I would like this watch more than I do, but I just don't wear it. I don't, for some reason, it's just a watch I'm not kind of meshing with. I got it for its kind of retro, kind of dome look, and I am a fan of Orient Star. But you know, this is not a watch I just don't wear often. So it's referred to as the Orient Star Classic, but the reference number is SAF02003W0. So there are a few variations of it. I like this kind of blue hand colorway the best. But again, very easy wearing watch. You know, it's only I think 38.5 millimeters, so it wears really well, comfortably. I think it's a good dress size watch. But you know, I just don't mess with it. So this is kind of on my trade sell block just because it's never gets worn. So this is kind of my happy to sell, trade, you know, whatever category. Just watches I don't really kind of have any attachment to. Alright guys, so next up on the group here are my Quartz collection. So I'll kind of begin with maybe an order of an oldest to newest. So first up is the Seiko 7546-6040. So this is from the late 70s, early 80s era, and really just like this watch. So the main reason I got it is, you know, I do appreciate some Seiko vintage pieces, but you know, I don't appreciate the prices of some of them. So some of these Quartz ones are just you know, bargains that often they can pick up, and I think they just make a really nice grab and go vintage looking watch. I mean, I just love this watch, how it looks. I actually got this watch for only $100, and with the original bracelet in good condition. I mean, it's really in good condition, no damage, just some wear. I mean, it's just an extremely clean watch for how old it is, and for $100 it was a steal in my opinion. Now, I kind of screwed up a little bit because the crystal on it had some scratches, and one day I was bored and thought it'd be a great idea to kind of take it off and just kind of polish it up with some poly watch to smooth it out. And I didn't do my research properly, or my due diligence, and how to disassemble this watch, and I cracked the crystal. So I was pretty mad about that, and then I figured, well, now I gotta replace it. So if I'm gonna replace it, might as well use sapphire. So I put in a sapphire crystal in here, so should remain scratch free for the rest of its probably life, because I don't wear this watch too often. It does have a sliding bezel that's bi-directional. Again, during the process I kind of seized it, so it does not want to turn very easily, so I might have to take this back off, maybe apply a little oil in there or something. But yeah, I kind of messed this one up, but otherwise this is a great watch. Now what I love about these vintage Seikos is that these quartz movements were made with real high quality. I mean, the movement inside this watch, it's an all metal type of movement with gears. It is serviceable. So back in the day when Quartz first came on the scene, I mean, they were really well built movements, not like on today's standard where it's like a disposable plastic movement. These are actually, you know, high quality type of movements. So really like this watch. It's gonna be a keeper in my collection. This is not one I'm probably ever gonna sell. Next up is another piece of Seiko history. This is the 7A28 movement. There's a few variations of this watch, different color pathways. You know, the black and the white ones tend to go for more money. This gold one I just appreciate because it just screams, you know, 1980s to me. So this watch was introduced in the 80s, and this is the first first quartz analog chronograph, if I'm saying that right. So this is another example of just how awesome Seiko is. I mean, this watch movement was ahead of its time. It's still on par with today's chronographs. Again, this is another extremely well built movement, all metal, 15 jewels, serviceable. Again, you're never gonna find a quartz watch built today like they built them back in the 80s. So this is another keeper. I got this just to kind of have a piece of Seiko history. It came on the original bracelet, but unfortunately it's too small for me, so I usually wear this one on a NATO strap. But again, awesome watch, another kind of Seiko history that's going to be a keeper. Next up, we have another piece of Seiko history as well. This is the 7T34-6A00, and this is the Flightmaster. So this is the predecessor to kind of the more modern one that everyone's familiar with. But again, I got this again just because, you know, a piece of Seiko history, and again, this is a fantastic price I found on this watch. Previous owner actually had this watch fully serviced, so he had actually the hands repainted, which is why they look so nice and clean. A new original crystal was put on it, battery was replaced, all the gaskets were changed. The only thing that's wrong with this watch is when the watch was kind of rebuilt, they were not able to find the OEM stem, or both of these stems are not OEM. They work, but they don't fit precisely, so it's you can't expose this to any kind of water at all, which is fine, because again, I got this more for the sake of owning it. Again, not a watch I wear too often. I just enjoy having a piece of Seiko history. And then this one opens up the doors, and this is from the early. So as this watch was phased out, and there's obviously a few different colorways of this one, it gave birth to the most current Flightmaster, which is the SNA 411. And this is, I think, this is a watch I think everyone needs to own. I mean, it's priced well that no matter what segment of the watch collecting world you're in, I just think this is a staple of any collection. You know, being a Quartz, you know, it's a ultimate grab and go watch, which is why I got it. Battery runs for years. If you ever just want to throw on a watch, there you go. And this one just looks, I mean, this watch just looks so much better. I mean, especially in person, if you see, I mean, it's one of the watches I probably get the most compliments on. It just kind of has that nice deep look to it. Now, I replaced the crystal in mine, which personally I recommend. The original one was a single dome, which you can see a difference. It kind of causes that distortion, which is, I think, a cool effect as well. But with a double dome, you lose that, that kind of distortion. But what you gain is better viewing angles, which kind of gives the watch, I think, a little bit more depth, because now you can actually kind of see how deep the watch is, where on this one you can't because it distorts it. So I personally love the sapphire modification, and it's just cleaner. The watch has a very nice kind of lacquer black finish. It's just I just love it. It's another great watch that I'm never gonna part with. This one gets a lot of wear time. It's kind of my go-to Quartz watch a lot of times. It's just an easy watch to throw on. And the only downside to this watch, it uses 21 mil. It has 21 mil lugs, so it's kind of annoying because it's kind of the standard is usually 20, 22, but this is actually a 22, and it does fit on there. You can kind of see it's a little pinched, but you can fit a 22 on here, or a 21 obviously as well. So that's it for kind of my Quartz collection. Alright guys, now we are getting into my top shelf watches. As you can see by the pillowcases, these are the ones that kind of make it to the top of my watch box. So I'll first begin with really kind of the watches that started it all for me, especially this one. So the famous SKX, I think this watch needs no introduction, but this was my very first automatic watch. So I've been into watches for quite some time, but I really was in the Citizen space. I always loved the Citizen's Echo Drive, and for years just had a collection of those, and I kind of wish I still kept that, but I ended up selling them. And one day I decided to kind of enter the world of automatics, and this one seemed to be the most always widely discussed, so that's the one I went with first, with the SKX. I believe this is what the 009. I had this one and had a 007, which is the black one. I think I kind of got them at the same time. I honestly can't remember which one I had first, but I unfortunately sold the 007, which I regret because I wanted to have all three. But I've kept this one, and this is really kind of, again, a sentimental watch I'm always going to keep, just because this is really kind of what kick-started my whole watch hobby. So, you know, not much I can tell you about this watch other than I have one. And then its kind of sibling is the SKX 13, which is the orange variant, which I think is my favorite one. I really like this orange one. I've modified this one. It's got a, I think it's a strap code bracelet, and it's got a really big dome crystal. I think it's called a Bubble Boy, and it's a yellow AR. It's a yellow AR coating, but a really big dome makes this watch look super cool. So this is my Halloween watch. I wear this traditionally a lot in October. So again, another watch I'm just never going to get rid of. Just really enjoy the SKX. It's just a great line of watches. Next are my Orient watches. So this is the Orient Star Diver. Reference number is RE AU0307E. So this is a very, I think, just a very cool looking watch. It's a watch that is a little elusive. They've made a couple different colorways, and even though this is not the limited edition colorway, it's the one that's actually the hardest to find. So I really like this watch. I really wanted it, and I was torn between this green or like the limited edition blue one. But to be honest, I kind of like the green because I just don't have any green watches, but it was the hardest watch to find. It was just, the few times it came up, it was just priced really expensively. And I kind of in a way gave up, but then one day I found it. And it's a really great diver. You know, wears really nicely, looks very distinct. I did a review on this watch already, but yeah, another watch that's kind of going to stay in the collection. And probably even more rarer is this Orient. So this is what I've dubbed kind of the Bambino killer. It doesn't go by the Bambino line, although it looks like it dimension-wise, and kind of think the movement's even the same. But this is the RAAC0015S10D. And I got this watch just because I thought it looked just really well for how cheaply it was priced. It comes with a sapphire crystal, which again, at this entry point, not often. I love the blue hands and the kind of the two-tone texture dial. So this watch, you know, the Grand Seiko Snowflake is on my bucket list of one of my grails. And this watch again kind of for some reason reminded me of that watch just because of the dial and the blue hands, and I just really wanted it, so ended up pulling the trigger on. And you know, this is a hard to find watch. I've actually had some people that have messaged me because I did at one point list it for sale, but so the ad is still up there, but I ended up selling a few other ones, so decided just to keep this one. But I've actually had a few people reach out to me that are trying to find this watch. So really cool piece of Orient history. I think Orient just makes a lot of watches, and they don't really market their watches, so they kind of just rely on kind of, I don't know, just it catching on. And if it catches on, they'll make 100 different versions of it. But if it doesn't catch on, they quickly, you know, sunset it and move on. And I think this was one that they kind of quickly sunsetted. So this is it for my kind of entry top shelf watches. Alright guys, so now we enter the Casio world. So let's take a look at some of my Casios. I'll first start off with these two little guys. This one, the battery died. I never wore this one, but these two I really got just for fun, to be honest. These are the A168s. These are on Amazon for like $15, and you know, it's just a watch that looks fancy, but it's super cheap. It's all plastic, but these are just fun watches to wear when you just want something different. And you know, I wear it sometimes just to mess with some of my buddies who are watch friends. I'll wear it just for the heck of it. And then I got this one because I found it extremely gaudy, and I thought it'd be a good way to just annoy my wife. So I'll wear this when I want to embarrass her. But these are just fun little watches, so I think again, something everyone can throw in their collection. So now, not sure what order to do these in, so I'll kind of try to group them in order. So looking at some of the lesser expensive watches, and I'm going to need help with these reference numbers, guys. I apologize. These are just not ones that you can commit to memory. So this is the AE 1200. So I did a video on this watch. I've modified mine, so I changed the polarizer to a nice green color, and just kind of gives it a more of a unique look. And then this is the, what we got here? This is the DW291. Again, these are both just kind of basic watches, no added features, just kind of time telling stopwatches, you know, kind of a no frills watch. But this one I also changed to a different kind of green. So as you can see right here, we have like a lime green and more of like a deep green. So just something different. So these are both just easy wear watches, especially this one, very small. This one's very light. This is great for the winter time because of how big the buttons are. So if you're ever working with gloves, like you're doing yard work or something, you have gloves on, this is a great watch. The buttons are super easy to click. Okay, moving on. So next is probably my favorite Casio or G-Shock, which is the 5610. So I've got 3 of them. Actually, at one point I had 4. I had the negative display version. But so this is the Adrenaline Red. Even though this is a little bit, this is the 56, this is the 5610. They're kind of similar. The big difference of this one is that it adds Bluetooth into the mix. But I kind of did a little modifying these, so I got this on a blue metal camo band. And then this one I have on a NATO with a little polarizer modification here as well. And then this one for the most part is stock, just I put it in a titanium band, and this is probably my favorite watch to wear out of the group. The titanium's so light. This is probably the one that gets the most wear from my Casio lineup. But I've always said that I think if you can only own one Casio, the 5610 is the one to go with. It's just an all-around great watch, solar, multi-band, and just, you know, a true set it and forget it watch. You know, everything just does on its own. And this titanium case is just amazing. So light, gives the watch kind of a real cool look. So my favorite out of the group. I should say my favorite. It's just the one I wear the most. Okay. Then we have my favorite Pro Trek. So I've won a few Pro Treks, and I've always just liked this one the best. It just has a really cool look to it. I mean, this is something that I feel like Rambo should have worn, or Arnold Schwarzenegger should have worn. It's just a really cool looking watch, very functional. It's a great kind of fishing watch, camping watch. I also wear this watch quite often as well. Then and this is the 3510, and then we have the Golf Master. So this is a recent addition. I upgraded the crystal on it to a sapphire dome crystal, and this is actually my first exposure to a kind of analog ABC watch. So I like it more than I thought. I didn't think I would, but I actually kind of like this watch. So the white and the blue, I think this is a really cool kind of summer watch to wear. It just kind of has a cool look to it. So a lot of functions. You got high tide, low tide barometer, moon phase. So and of course it's got all the other compass, barometer, altimeter as well. So it's a triple sensor watch. So very, very cool watch. Actually, not moon phase. It's got, and I take that back. This does not have the moon phase. It only has the barometer and tide. But again, real cool watch. I like it. And then it brings me up to my favorite G-Shock, which is a Rangeman. I'm not sure. This is a very kind of gaudy, just obnoxiously big looking watch, but I just like it. I like it so much I have 2 of them. So I don't know what about this watch. It's just a fun watch. I don't know. You just kind of have to experience it. You know, it kind of looks very just gaudy, big, and obnoxious, and it is, but yet it's just fun to wear. You know, it's an ABC watch. It's got all the, you know, compass, barometer, altimeter, you know, all the survival things you need, multi-band 6, solar. But I really like wearing this watch. I've got it on a red band, just to kind of accent the red. This is the green one. It began its life as a negative display, but the negative displays are really hard to read, so I made it a positive display. Again, just a fun wearing watch. You know, don't let the size intimidate you. It is big, but kind of compact. It's kind of works. And then actually I forgot about this one. So this was actually one of my earlier Casios before I got all these. This was one of my first Casios. I was just looking for a kind of a grab and go set it and forget it watch. And this was on the Amazon warehouse for like $25 or something like that. So I'm like, why not? But again, it's solar, analog, and this is before I kind of got into digital. I still like the analog better. I put on this rubber band just to make it a little easier to wear because the cheap plastic it came on was annoying. But yeah, another easy, fun watch. I think this is the, let me see if I can find it here. This is the AQ S800W. So another fun, inexpensive watch that you can throw on anytime. So this is it for my Casio collection. But like I said, my favorite is the Rangeman, but the one I wear the most is this one, just because it's obviously compact, easy to wear. So, but I like them all. So let's move on to my kind of Grail watches now. Alright guys, and now we're going to close out the collection with my Grail pieces. So I'll kind of just start off with in the order I got them. So I'll begin with the Speedmaster. So this is obviously a extremely well-known watch, and this was actually my first like high-end watch that I got. I kind of played in like the small sandbox for a while, but I knew I wanted a Grail watch. When I say Grail, it means it's something I want to kind of pass down to my kids, and this was a Speedmaster. So the reason I chose a Speedmaster is I kind of just always have an appreciation for astronomy. I just find it very fascinating. So this watch obviously claimed to fame as it was the first watch worn to the moon. So it's kind of referred to as a moon watch for that reason. But it just seemed like the appropriate watch for me. I just like the kind of the, I want to say boring, but just the very monotone look. It just is a look that ages well. It's just a design it's been around for what, 40, 50 years, and it just never gets old. It's a very low-key design, but yet just ages gracefully. So really cool watch. This is kind of in a way my dress watch. I don't wear it often just because I don't want to damage it, especially because I got the acrylic one because I wanted to keep it as original, or to the original as possible. So therefore I went with the solid case back and the acrylic. They do have like a sapphire sandwich, which is cool, but I wanted to kind of keep it OG. Second watch I got is the Tudor Pelagos, and this watch in a way I kind of a little bit got for the wrong reasons, because I've always wanted a Rolex and probably never really able to afford one, but this really is kind of a poor man's Rolex, unfortunately, in a way, because it is all Rolex, and in a way that kind of, I'd be lying if I said it didn't influence my decision, but it did a little bit. But I do like the look of this watch, and this is like the reason I got this, to be honest, is I had a Planet Ocean, and it was just way too heavy and kind of bulky to wear, so I picked this one out for its titanium build because it's much more comfortable than my Planet Ocean was. So I love wearing this one. I actually also had it in blue, and I thought that's the one I wanted because I got this one first, and then a blue one came up for sale, so I got the blue one and I was going to sell this one. But then after about a month of owning both, the blue kind of got a little boring, I guess. I don't know, just didn't like it. I ended up actually appreciating this one better. Kind of similar to the Speedmaster. Kind of sometimes these kind of simple, designs just age better. Like they don't grow as old. So I ended up liking this one more. So then I got rid of the blue one. And this is really back in the pre-COVID days when we had to go into the office. This is the one I wore the most, just because of its comfort and durability. So really I appreciate this Pelagos. It's a very nice watch, keeps great time, got all the good specs to back it up. It just has a kind of in a way, kind of a unique look. It's a diver. There are thousands of divers out there. Majority are kind of, copying off the Rolex. This one does kind of look unique. Like I can spot a Pelagos from quite a distance. So really cool watch, like it a lot. And my most recent one would be the Seiko Marine Master 300. So this watch I just wanted because I love Seiko, and this is kind of in a way the top of the hill, the king of the hill for the Seiko line. So this is I wanted this because of that, and just love how it looks. It's a very beefy, very kind of shimmering watch. I really love wearing this watch, and to be honest, I wear this watch the most out of all the three. It's the one I enjoy wearing. It's my favorite watch to wear. Now it's a little big, so you can't pull it off on like a shirt and tie because you'll never fit it under the cuff. So that's why I often wear this one. It's a little thinner, but you know, during the summertime, anytime we go out anywhere, this is the watch I wear. I just love wearing it. It just looks really cool. It actually wears very comfortably despite its size. It's a very intimidating watch. I almost didn't get it because of the specs on paper make it look massive, but it really just wears smaller. So that's the Marine Master. This is the one I probably like wearing the best. I don't know why. Something about the Marine Master. It's my favorite. So that wraps up the collection. If you have any questions, let me know. I apologize if I omitted anything. I tried to get through as quick as possible so I can cover all the watches, but I really enjoyed it making this video because it just kind of brought back memories about some of these watches. So hopefully in another year or two I'll make another one and we'll see what's changed. So thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye now.